You're on.
From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. By Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports, entertainment, and political memorabilia since 1996. They're also available for charity auctions. Give Warren a call at 516-826-4000. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And don't forget the Marty Lyons Foundation 5th Annual NFL Draft Party, April 24th at Great South Bay Brewery in Bay Shore. I'll be hosting it for the 5th straight year. Well, hi again, everyone, and welcome to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club podcast on YouTube and follow along on Sports Bash Media on X, Instagram, and on Facebook. Later on in the show, really good guest, we're going to be joined by Ryan Corrigan from Corrigan Sports Enterprises. They are presenting what is going to be a great event here on Long Island coming up on April 12th. It is a lacrosse game between Cornell University and Syracuse. It's called the Crown of New York Lacrosse Game. It's going to be at the Mitchell Athletic Complex on April 12th. And stay tuned later in the show. We're going to be giving away some tickets to that game. That's coming up a little bit later. We'll also have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. And I'll give you a little tease. And Tony Walker spinning the dials to my right. He doesn't know this yet. The tease is it has to do with torpedo. That is the poll question for later in the day. I think I may have just given it away, but the key word for the poll question today is torpedo. So looking forward to talking to Ryan Corrigan a little bit later on at around 1:20, and then we'll get to all our other nonsense a little bit later in the show. Plus, and I forgot to do this on Thursday, but we are going to have, in the final segment of the show, and Tony is very excited about this, an update on the voice of God. There is an update, and right after, remember that when I was talking about the voice of God a couple of weeks ago, I get to my car that day, and there's a text from my mother, "You never followed up on the voice of God." And I totally forgot. The show ended, and I forgot. But we actually have a very positive and meaningful update about the voice of God. And it's coming up in the third segment. There's a lot going on in sports. I get it. The whole bat thing with the Yankees is going on. We're getting ready for the Final Four. We have the NFL league meetings going on, and fans of the Jets and Giants gearing up. The schedule is going to be out soon. The draft is going to be taking place, as you know, doing the Marty Lyons draft party on April 24th. But and you may have seen me tease this on X or Twitter earlier in the day that I wanted to talk about something. And those of you who know me and follow me know that I have been working in sports here in New York for the better part of 35 years at a variety of different places. And if you just indulge me for just a couple of minutes, I'd like to talk about a few things and say something at the end. When it came to me as an athlete growing up, I sucked. It's just I was not good at anything. I played Little League Baseball, but I was awful. I really was. And I think I've told the story on the show before, but there was one year where my father was my Little League manager, may he rest in peace. And he named me an all-star one year. And I said, "Dad, why are you naming me an all-star? I stink." I loved baseball. I loved going to Yankee games. I loved going to Met games. I was growing up in Forest Hills. I played in the Jewish Community Baseball League growing up in Forest Hills for Queens Jewish Center. But I was terrible. I'll give you an example of it. We were warming up. I was playing first base. It was the only position I was somewhat okay at. But our pitcher is warming up to start an inning, top of the first inning. And we're throwing the ball around the infield, and I go to take the ball from first base to throw it across the third. I hit our pitcher in the arm. You're laughing. I'm serious. Tony's having a stroke listening to this. I seriously, to the point where I was so upset. I was so upset and so angry at myself that I walked off the field.
Oh, wow.
I did. I went to go sit with my mother, who was not paying attention to anything that was going on anyway. She was probably doing a crossword puzzle, sitting in her chaise lounge chair, whatever, on the side, and I sat, I'm not playing. I'm just not playing. And, my father tried to get me to go back in and play, and I wouldn't play. The kids were trying to get me to go back, and finally I needed some time to cool off because I was so pissed off at myself for injuring my own teammate. And I finally did go back in, and I actually hit a home run in the game.
Nice.
Not a real home run. It's one of those like line drives between, in the gap and left and center field. And look, I can't run, but the ball just kept rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling.
Home run's a home run.
It was an inside the park home run. It goes down as a home run. It wasn't a real home run, but it was a home run. So I realized at a very, very young age that I sucked at sports. I loved watching it. I loved going to games with my dad and my family. And I was very, very spoiled growing up because of what mainly what my uncle did for a living and having access to all these tickets. And my father, too. Every time I wanted to go to a game, whether it was a Yankee game or a Jet game or Cosmos, whatever it was, Knicks, the answer was just about always yes. There were obviously some times where it just wasn't possible. But, again, I realized at a very young age that I was not any good at sports. And if I was going to be involved in sports when I got older, it was going to have to be something like this, like being in broadcasting. And I remember sitting on my father's lap, very, very young, watching a baseball game. And I don't remember if it was a Yankee game or a Met game. And I said to my father, Dad, I may have said Daddy. I think I might have been in the daddy stage still. It might have been Daddy. I think he said, Daddy, I want to talk like this man on the TV one day. Now, of course, I've got a face for radio. Somehow I've landed some television work over the years. But I want to talk about sports like this man. And that was my dream. Growing up in Queens until I was 12, and then we moved out to Long Island. I said, I am going to be a sportscaster one day. Now, as you know, I've told the story. My social studies teacher, senior year in high school, told me I was nuts. Said his daughter was a failure at it. Don't do it. Talk to your parents. Think about doing something else for a living. No, how dare you? That's what I want to do. Don't have somebody tell you that they can't do something. So I went on and majored in broadcasting at Buffalo State College. How great was that? I'm on the first week in college. I'm on the college radio station doing sports updates. I'm hosting shows. I'm doing play-by-play. Started with girls basketball. Eventually got to the men's team. Did football games, did soccer, lacrosse, everything. I covered Bills practices. They wouldn't let us go to games, but I covered Bills practices. I covered Sabres games in Buffalo. Went to the AAA Buffalo Bisons games, covered that. All these things that I got to do in college. It was awesome. I'm telling you, it was awesome. As a kid who wanted to grow up as a sports fan, but he sucked at sports, but I'm involved in it somehow. This is what I wanted to do. And then I graduated from Buffalo State, and right before, and this was all my mom, I was getting ready to do a sports talk show on my college radio station, and my mother calls I didn't have a cell phone back then. My mother calls the college radio station and says, there's an ad in Newsday. Sports Phone is looking for people to work. And I came home on spring break. I got hired. They said they hold the job for me until after I graduated. Yeah, pretty good, right?
Very good.
I had to take a sports test. I went in, I sent them my tape, and then they brought me in for the interview. They made me do another demo in the studio at Sports Phone. By the way, if you don't know what Sports Phone is, Tony, you remember Sports Phone, right?
Yeah.
Remember we had Howie Carpenter on, who wrote the book about, was that here or the old show? It might have been the old show. I don't think we had it here. It was on the old version of Sports Bash. There was just a book written about Sports Phone. So that was it was 976-1313. And you called up. It was really for the degenerate gamblers. But if I was a kid growing up, and if the Yankees played at 10:30 at night in Seattle, my parents wouldn't let me stay up to watch the game. So I would call Sports Phone. And if the Yankees lost, I wasn't sure if I heard the score correctly. I would call back 2 or 3 times to make sure. And my mother and my father would look at the phone bill and say, "What is this 976 number?" Now, all to be completely transparent, Sports Phone was part of a bigger company called Phone Programs. They also did the joke line. The things came out of the same office. But I worked on the sports side. There was one time I did something for the wrestling phone number. That was a one-time shot because it involved too many weird people, and I didn't do it again. But Sports Phone was my first job out of college, and I loved it. It was great. My father would pass his phone around to everybody. "Oh, my son is on Sports Phone. Let's call 976-1313," right? And still, the phone. I'm working for them, and he's basically paying my salary, my father, because he's calling everybody on the block that would listen. "Oh, Peter's on Sports Phone. Let's call Sports Phone." So that was my job for a while. And of course, I went on to do some other things. Shadow Traffic had a sports division. I wound up working there, working at WABC. Did play-by-play for New York Saints lacrosse. All these things that I did. I got to work at ESPN Radio and fan, obviously now. And here, when you get into this business, again, I'm lucky. I'm very, very lucky that I've had the career that I've had. Covered World Series, Super Bowls, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup. I've covered the U.S. Open. Interviewed some of the biggest names in sports. I've told a story about how I had this surprise interview with Wayne Gretzky in the bowels of Nassau Coliseum one day. Interviewed all these people, and a lot of the players that I grew up idolizing and being fans of and covering are now friends of mine, like Marty Lyons. And those kind of people, and working for the Dragons for those 8 years, and building up friendships and getting to work for the league. And now that I'm back with the Dragons are back, and I'm the general manager of the freaking team. It's amazing. I listen. Have I reached Jim Nantz status? No. Have I reached Mike Tirico status? No. Mike and the Mad Dog status? No. But for that little kid that grew up sucking at sports. I told you about baseball. I remember I tried out for the basketball team in yeshiva. I went to yeshiva when we were living in Queens. And I had this great idea I was going to try out for the basketball team. I mean, look at me. I mean, not an ounce of athletic ability in me. I didn't even make it through the first round of cuts. It was a disaster. So stick to baseball. I sucked at baseball too. So for this little kid who grew up in Queens, and then we moved to Long Island in time for the Stanley Cup parades with the Islanders, and my dad took me to a World Series game when I was 10 years old. Game 1 of the '77 World Series at Yankee Stadium. Wow. And my uncle's company had a suite at Giant Stadium. We went to Jet games and Giant games. And then to go on and have the career that I've had, I could drop the mic. I can't complain. And to be able to share this stuff now with my family. It was one thing when you're by yourself and you're trying to get a career going, and then you meet the woman who you love and you have a family, and you're able to share these things with your family. It's incredible. But there comes a point also where you have to really think about the important things in life, and that is family, and it is trying to do some other things and accomplish some other things. So I am blessed that I was able to be in sports for 35 years, from the time that I graduated Buffalo State College in May of 1989, driving home from Buffalo in the car with all my stuff and my parents and my brother, with all my stuff from my dorm, and I said, I can't wait to get started on my professional sports broadcasting career at Sports Phone. And it has taken me all over the country and Canada. I've never been overseas, but I've done a lot here in the States. And again, there comes a time where you have to start thinking about your priorities in life. And I've spent so much time away from home, covering games. I'm going to the Islander game tonight, so it's another night that I'm away from my family. And I think it is time that I do something else for a living. So on this April 1st, it is, thank you, Tony, for the music. I would like to let everybody know that I am announcing my resignation from everything that has to do with sports. That includes this show, which I love. This might be the most difficult thing, to not spend every Tuesday and Thursday here with Tony. Thursdays with Wiz, well, I can do without that. To step away from WFAN. I mean, it was a long road to get to WFAN. I remember getting reject letter after reject letter from them. And when they called me in 2009 to say, we'd like you to come in and do updates, and I've gotten to host some shows for them too, to be able to say goodbye to them is sad. And I just realized the dream come true to become the general manager of the team that I loved when I worked for them from 2001 to 2008. It's time to step away from sports. It's time to focus my attention on other things in life. I want to take my family on some trips. We want to do some traveling. I don't want my sports responsibilities to get in the way. So I've decided to step away from the sports world and focus my attention on some other things. One of my favorite shows growing up, well, not even growing up, I was kind of an adult when Married with Children started airing. Who didn't like that show? Al Bundy, Peg Bundy, the whole Bundy family. But I was always inspired by Al Bundy. Not because he, scored 8,000 touchdowns in one game, Polk High School, right? But the man was arguably the greatest shoe salesman ever in the history of shoe sales. So it has always been my dream, aside from that dream I had as a kid growing up in Queens and Forest Hills, to be a sportscaster. It is also, since starting to watch Married with Children many, many years ago, it has always been my dream to be a shoe salesman. And I'm not going to have to go far. There's a store right across the street on Hempstead Turnpike called the Shoe Nuff. And I have taken a full-time managerial position. I mean, who knows shoes better than me? I mean, I've got 2 size 14 wides. I have accepted a job as full-time manager at the Shoe Nuff here in Levittown across Hempstead Turnpike. Now, Tommy, I'm sure this has to hit you very, very hard, but we're going to be neighbors. I mean, I'm going to be right across the street. If it's okay with you, I still would like to pop in, once in a while just to say hello while I'm at my great new job across the street.
I am a little concerned because you haven't even started this new life yet, and you're already, I don't know if because you don't get to use your brain as much or something, because you screwed up my name. So
what did I do?
You just called me Tommy.
Did I say Tommy? Oh, I'm sorry. That's my other life. Tony.
See, it's an emotional day, so I understand.
I understand. All my worlds are colliding today.
Yes, I get it.
Words. I called you Tommy. I'm so sorry. I did not want to insult you there by calling you Tommy.
I almost missed it because I'm just so verklempt right
Tony,
now
I'm
with
sorry.
Emotion.
No, but is it? I'm sorry, Tony. Am I still going to be welcome to come here to the beautiful Governor's Comedy Club podcast studios to?
That's a tough one. It's something we really have to discuss around here.
Yeah,
and figure it out.
Because I had to go through that probationary period when we brought the show here
right.
from LI News Radio out east. You didn't even let me use the bathroom here for the first month.
Barely let you in the building.
Right, but you were contractually obligated because we pay to be here.
I mean, now I guess it's Sports Bash with Wiz. I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, I have. I contacted Vinny Tickets and Ryan, the 2 owners of the show, and I did also, I suggested that, listen, there's only one person that's capable of filling my shoes here on Sports Bash, and that's Wiz.
Well, you can actually fit a few Wizzes in
Well,
your
you
shoes.
can fit a few Wizzes. Yeah, absolutely.
He's probably listening to this right now and running to his car to get here.
Yeah. It's and I'm sure I'm going to get a text from him momentarily saying, I'm really sorry to hear about this. How can I help? And here's what you can do to help. You can pick up your phone and you can look at your time and the date and know that today's date is April 1st. So I just want to let everybody know who is about to jump off the cliff. And if I was going to get a text from somebody saying, what is going on? I hope I did. I've never really been involved in things like this on April 1st. So I wanted to drag it out a little bit. But just so everybody knows, it's one big giant. Now, 99% of that story was correct. Everything about my life growing up was all the truth. But if you think that I'm walking away from sports as you're watching this show, you got to be crazy. So, by the way, I had to do this because I got rooked into something earlier today. And I don't know how many of you people follow Hershey and the Keeg online, but I got roped into Hirsch, put on Facebook that him and Keegs were going to split up. They were still going to be friends, but they were not going to do their show anymore, Hershey and the Keeg. And I'm like, they got me. They absolutely got me. So it's a complete joke. I am not walking away. And in fact, when we come back here on Sports Bash, we're going to continue with the program. We're going to talk a little lacrosse. Ryan Corrigan from Corrigan Sports Enterprises will join me to talk about the big game coming up April 12th at Mitchell Athletic Complex when Syracuse takes on Cornell. It's all coming up right after this.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles is the best place to find autographed entertainment and sports memorabilia. We guarantee the authenticity of each and every item in our shop to provide you with quality collectibles anytime you browse our inventory. Our memorabilia includes autographed photos, sports equipment, jerseys, hats, and other paraphernalia from current athletes and legendary sports stars. If you prefer the entertainment industry, we have signed posters, albums, and photographs from classic movie stars and today's celebrities. To give back to our community, we participate in fundraising auctions for local charities. Call us today to request a specific autograph, find a special gift for someone else, or schedule an event. Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles. Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, 516-465-3990, the number to call. I'm Peter Schwartz. I am still very much the host of Sports Bash here Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock on Governor's Comedy Club podcast. For those who may have dropped off after they heard my opening April Fool's joke, please don't have a heart attack about it. It was just a joke, trying to have a little fun on this April 1st as we welcome you back inside the show. And this segment of Sports Bash is presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving the customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. We want to welcome into the program from Corrigan Sports Enterprises. We want to welcome in Ryan Corrigan as they are going to put on this great lacrosse game on April 12th at 4 o'clock at Mitchell Athletic Complex, Cornell and Syracuse. Ryan, it's Peter. How are you?
Peter, I'm good. What's happening, brother? How are we today?
We're doing good. I think I may have given some family members a little bit of a heart attack with my open there, with a little April Fool's joke saying that it was time for me to walk away from sports. But I just want you to know that was just a complete joke.
Well, good. That makes me feel much better today. I really appreciate you clearing the air on that.
Well, I just wanted to get that out of the way first and apologize for anybody who I gave a heart attack to a few minutes ago. So tell us, you guys have put these lacrosse games on here on Long Island, other places as well. You find two prominent, college teams, and you put them in a neutral site, and it's a great recruiting tool for the two colleges that are playing, and you're doing just that. With this, Cornell and Syracuse, April 12th at Mitchell Athletic Complex at 4 o'clock. Tell us about this game and how it came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a part of our SmartLink College Lacrosse Live series. It's a part of a string of different events that we do. The first two were actually down in Texas this year. So we had Towson versus Virginia and Houston. Then we had Duke versus Denver and Dallas at Highland Park High School, which is where the great Matt Stafford went. Scotty Scheffler, not a bad golfer.
Yeah.
He also happened to go to high school there. So we've had those two great games. We actually have Virginia versus Maryland women here in Baltimore coming up on Wednesday, April 9th, where we're partnering with the One Love Foundation. And then, of course, on April 12th, we trek up to beautiful Long Island, where we host the top-ranked Cornell Big Red against Syracuse in an awesome game there at Mitchell Field. So we're pumped, man. It's going to be great. Our goal is to make an intimate environment, something unique. We bring in the video board. We really make it special for the people there on Long Island. And you're right, exactly right, in the sense that, what's important to these coaches, of course, is having that face and that ability to get in front of the Long Island high school community, right? It's a great opportunity for them to do that and build their brand equity within these different markets where we take our neutral site games.
And you're there in Baltimore, and here on Long Island, I mean, you couldn't think of two bigger lacrosse hotbeds. And for here on Long Island, there's so many great venues that have hosted big games, whether it's high school stadiums or college. But you've selected Mitchell Athletic Complex, and for those who don't know, it once hosted the top level of lacrosse on Long Island when the Lizards, the New York Lizards, played there in Major League Lacrosse. So you have actually selected a venue for these two great teams to play at a venue that's very rich in history in lacrosse.
Indeed. No, absolutely. And we're good buddies with Joe Spallina, one of the great ones, of course. And we really, what we're after is we like to find venues that are unique, right? We want to paint our landscape. And we felt like Mitchell Field gave us an awesome opportunity to do that, where we bring in a little bit of our feel where it's different. We don't want to be on a college campus, right? And in fact, the college coaches that participate in our event don't want to be on another college campus. So finding some unique locations is always critical for us. And we think geographically, Mitchell Field's a great place, to host an event of this capacity. We've done our New Balance All-American tryouts at this venue as well, which is a great spot, not far from everybody. They get a great Marriott right there, who's a tremendous partner of ours. So we're excited to bring it to Mitchell Field. We're going to paint the picture, and it's going to be an awesome day for the sport of lacrosse.
And I know you're very good friends with Mike Nelson, who's one of the biggest names of lacrosse here on Long Island. And I know, there's a big event when it comes to lacrosse on Long Island. Mike is right in the center of it.
Indeed, yes. Actually, we're going to have Mike very heavily involved this year. He's going to be giving out their big award at the conclusion of the game, which is exciting to carry on that tradition. They're also going to support us, USA Lacrosse, right, of Long Island is a chapter, I guess you'd call it. Tremendous group of guys. They're going to bring in their team, and they're going to help us execute a handful of things on site. But really what we like, and truth be told, we execute a lot of endurance events as well. We like to bring our show to town, but we would like to sprinkle a little local flair on it. And we feel like Mike and his team, Mike Chanichuk with Long Island Express, there's a handful of others up there in Long Island that make it authentic, unique, and different, and we think that that's critical and important for our success. We're
talking to Ryan Corrigan from Corrigan Sports Enterprises. They are putting on the Crown of New York lacrosse game between Cornell and Syracuse on April 12th at Mitchell Athletic Complex at 4 o'clock. Ryan, for those who do not have their tickets yet, how can people get their tickets for that game?
Yeah, absolutely. So you go on collegelacrosselive.com. You'll see there's a series of different games. Select the Cornell versus Syracuse game. You could go on. You could check out all the different options that we have available. But overall, it's going to be a great day. I mean, you have two incredible programs right now. I mean, Cornell might be the best that they've been in 15 years, right? CJ Kirst just broke the all-time scoring record at Cornell, which is exceptional, tremendous history, rich lacrosse history there. And, of course, Syracuse is led by Joey Spallina and his band of brothers. So it should be a great day, man. It should be a great day for lacrosse, and we're pulling for triple overtime, as always.
Of course. And you mentioned Joe Spallina before, who's the women's head lacrosse coach at Stony Brook, and also recently named the general manager of the California Redwoods in the Premier Lacrosse League. But his son, Joey Spallina, made all kinds of splashes coming out of high school here on Long Island, and now it's kind of a homecoming for him to play for Syracuse in a game on Long Island against Cornell. He's probably going to be worth the price of admission alone to see that game.
Oh, absolutely. Joey's a tremendous athlete, and the thing that I'll say about Joey is he's an even better person. I have an uncle that's actually going through a very tough time with his wife. She has brain cancer right now. We hosted a game between Delaware and Syracuse last year, and just to let you under the helmet of the kind of kid that Joey Spallina is and the father that Joe Spallina is. In the middle of warm-ups, Joey popped out of warm-ups for his game and came over and talked to my uncle to ask how his wife was doing. And that just shows that's not only does it mean Joey's a great kid, but he was raised the right way. So kudos to Joe for raising a great kid who also happens to be an exceptional lacrosse player.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and we can't wait to see him continue to excel at Syracuse and go on, I'm sure, to be a great career in the Premier Lacrosse League. And can't talk about this game without talking about a Long Islander from the other side of the coin at Cornell, and he's a guy that my older son Bradley played lacrosse and football at MacArthur High School and got to know Huey Kelleher a little bit. Huey was a few years ahead of Bradley, but Huey mesmerized the community in Levittown at MacArthur High School, both on the football field and the lacrosse field, and now a chance for local fans again to see him play here on Long Island for Cornell in that game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of Long Island. Long Island puts out some of the top talent in the country in the sport of lacrosse. We all know that, right? I mean, it's Long Island and then Baltimore. I mean, we're butting heads basically on this call right now.
Yeah.
But, you got Jack Cascadden. I mean, there's a ton of other kids as well that are from the Long Island area. And we hosted Notre Dame versus Cornell last year, too, which was really exceptional to have the Kavanaugh kids up there and Liam Entenman and, the same thing with the Cornell folks as well. But it really is a special day, and Long Island is a very unique place. Of course, you guys have Hofstra, which is a great program, but having the opportunity to bring in, Cornell at the peak of their power, the peak of their reign, and then of course, Syracuse is Syracuse. I mean, they're the top tier. They're the Lakers of college lacrosse, right? So let's bring them in and really show them off to the Long Island lacrosse community.
And it's going to be showtime on April 12th between Syracuse and Cornell. Obviously, the game is the game, and we expect it to be an unbelievable presentation of the game of lacrosse on April 12th. But you mentioned before, when you guys put these games on, you like to put your own footprint on things and add your own flair to it. What are some of the other activities that fans who are coming to the game that day, in addition to the great lacrosse they're going to see, what else will they be able to experience at that game?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're long on fun at our events. I mean, every post-goal one, I'm a classic rock guy, so you're not going to hear any rap at any of my events ever. So after every goal,
I think that's why you and I will stay friends.
Indeed, I like that. So, you're going to get a little Bruce, you're going to get a little Rolling Stones.
Don't forget Billy Joel. You're on Long Island. You got to play some Billy Joel.
I can break out Billy Joel. You got it.
Okay.
So, you get a little of that. We have a ton of different sponsors and vendors that are out there, of course, displaying products, things like that. Elevated experience. We have a VIP where fans have the opportunity to actually sit on the field. You get your feet on the field, which is a pretty cool opportunity, right? An Adirondack chair. Not a bad spot to watch a lacrosse game.
Yeah, I did that at a Lizards game a few times. That's actually a great place to watch a game.
Oh, it's tremendous. And, we also, another kind of unique quirk to what we do is we actually launched our own TV network this past year, where all of these games that we execute air live. So CorriganSportsNetwork.com. If you can't make the game, watch the game. And truth be told, I'm going to do a little promotion here. We want to make this, typically we do pay to view, right? Somebody's got to pay the man, right?
Right, of course.
What I'm trying to find a guy that wants to offset that cost and eliminate that production fee so my game is free to the lacrosse community all throughout the country, because I think we do lacrosse games better than most. Uncle Booker covers the games with his brother George, they're an absolute riot if you haven't heard them, and nobody foots the bill. It's worth the price of admission. They're entertaining, they're fun, they're funny, and they're making the sport great, and we want to show it off to the world. So if you can't make it, tune in, CorriganSportsNetwork.com. It's great opportunity to check out great lacrosse.
It's going to be a great game whether you are there in person, and we hope you're there in person. And I know we had talked about this a little bit earlier today, but we'd like to have one of our lucky viewers and listeners get a chance to go to that game on the house. So what are we doing with that?
Yeah, so let's, we're going to hook them up. They're going to have their feet on the sideline. Hopefully they don't get run over by somebody diving out for a ground ball. But yeah, we'll throw in a couple VIP passes and send them your way. So
you can call 516-465-3990 before the end of the show. If the tickets are still available, we'll put them up on our social media accounts. So stay tuned to that. 2 VIP passes for Cornell and Syracuse at Mitchell Athletic Complex on April 12th. The sport of lacrosse has grown by leaps and bounds over the years. I don't think it's ever been as popular as it is right now. I think a lot of it has to do with the notoriety that's come at the high school and the college level, and also with the job that Paul and Mike Rabel have done with the Premier Lacrosse League and getting the games, more games than ever, on national television. How happy are you with the growth that this sport has seen, over the last 10 years or so?
Yeah, I mean, it's been huge, right? I mean, lacrosse is continuing to expand, and the thing that's really unique is the markets where it's growing, right? Like for me, what's so fulfilling is to go to places like Texas, to go to places like, out in the Midwest and see the growth of the sport and just how it's, kind of caught fire. I mean, doing those events in Texas was really unique for us too, because it's not a public school sanctioned sport currently. But you had people kind of coming from all over, right, trying to see and understand the sport. And I don't think anybody left the game and was like, this isn't a good sport. Everybody left and was like, oh my God, this is a great sport. So yeah, and I got to tip my hat to the Rabel gang. I mean, they've done an incredible job growing the sport, but there's a lot of foundation there too, to the MLL guys, right? I mean, there was a vision there by the original folks that spearheaded the MLL, guys like Brendan Kelly, of course, in the Bayhawks, and the team of folks up there in Long Island, and a little bit of everywhere too, right? Like, remember the New Jersey Pride? I mean, there were teams all over the place, and I think it takes a village, right? Everybody from the lower level folks to those upper level folks. I mean, it's a up and down elevator kind of exercise in making the sport successful and healthy, and we have that right now. So it's a group effort, and everybody's rowing their oar in the same direction for success for our sport.
No question about it. It's a great sport. Even if you don't play it, it's a wonderful sport to watch. It's fast-moving up and down. Whether it's outdoor lacrosse or box lacrosse indoors, it's a great spectacle for people to go to see. One more time, Ryan, how can people get tickets to see Cornell and Syracuse here on Long Island on April 12th?
Yep, so go to collegelacrosselive.com, and it's got all your details right there. Coming up April 12th, 4 p.m. It's going to be awesome.
And we're going to give away 2 VIP tickets for that game to a lucky viewer here on the show or on social media coming up later on today. Ryan Corrigan from Corrigan Sports Enterprises, my guest. Ryan, thanks for spending some time with me here on the show. Looking forward to the game on April 12th, and hope to see you out there at Mitchell Athletic Complex.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You got it. Ryan Corrigan, Corrigan Sports Enterprise. Again, it's the Crown of New York lacrosse game between Cornell and Syracuse, April 12th. Mitchell Athletic Complex at 4 o'clock. Get your tickets. You heard how you can do it. Check out all the social medias to get some more information, and the website, Corrigan Sports Enterprises, Corrigan Sports Network as well. You can get all the information about that game. And again, a chance to see 2 great former Long Island high school players in Joey Spallina for Syracuse and Hugh Kelleher for Cornell. When we come back here on Sports Bash, we've got lots more to do. I want to talk about this Yankee Batgate when we come back. This whole nonsensical controversy about these bats the Yankees are using. We want to talk about that when we come back. Also, again, I have to give you an update on the Voice of God. That's coming up when we come back as well. And the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day is coming up when we come back with more Sports Bash right after this.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Morning Lions Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz, 516-465-3990, the number to call. We thank Ryan Corrigan from Corrigan Sports Enterprises for joining us about the Cornell-Syracuse game here on Long Island on April 12th at Mitchell Athletic Complex. We welcome you back in with a little Angry Young Man from Billy Joel. Always good to hear that tune. And Tony was telling me a story before the show about you pulled a little April Fool's joke on the audience for Dave Clark a number of years ago, and you came out and you tried playing the piano.
For that song. And I don't play piano.
And you don't play piano.
I don't play piano.
So I've always, I know we talk about Billy Joel a lot here on the show, and I know you talk about it on the Knock 'em Dead comedy show, but it would always be, this, and this is not a phony dream, this is not an April Fool's joke, but I would just like to learn how to do that opening to Angry Young Man that he does all the time when he does that song. It's one of the most unique things you'll ever see. And again, I don't know playing piano from playing the tuba. I don't know what the what difficult, but I would just like to, if I can just learn one thing about the piano, is to do that opening like Billy Joel does.
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks.
Yeah.
And I can do it on the table, but I can't do it on the
and it keyboard. Sounds a little different.
It sounds a little different. We go across the street to Tri-County, across the parking lot of Tri-County Flea Market, and when they have they sell a lot of used things there, so every time there's like an organ or some kind of keyboard, and there it is. There's two things I try to do on it. I try to do the Angry Young Man, and I also do dun 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 dun. I inevitably with my wife or my kids will say, "Dad, stop being a child." Peter, stop being a child. I'm like I dun 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 dun. So, but yeah, I love playing that song here on the show, and obviously as Tony broke the news to me a couple of weeks ago, or last week it was, about the Billy Joel documentary, and So It Goes is coming to HBO Max this summer. And so I'm looking forward to that, obviously. It's a two-part documentary, right?
Correct.
Two-part documentary
yes,
coming up on the Piano Man over the course of the summer. And it's a huge summer for Billy Joel. 3 shows here in the New York area in stadiums, MetLife Stadium, Citi Field, and Yankee Stadium. So we have that to look forward to. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and the question is, should the torpedo bats that the Yankees have been using over the first 3 games of the season, and they play Arizona tonight, should they be allowed? And I checked my phone during the break. The 2 choices, yes and no, overwhelming. I put it up a little while ago. 67% say that the Yankees they should be allowed. It doesn't matter if it's the Yankees, the Mets, or whoever. It's approved by Major League Baseball, and I can't believe the overreaction to this. Or maybe I shouldn't be surprised by it, because this is what happens in sports. A team tries to play a game a different way, well within the rules. Go to hockey years ago when the Devils were winning Stanley Cups with Lou Lamoriello as the GM, and the Devils played that neutral zone trap. Remember that neutral zone? It's boring hockey. The Devils won 3 Stanley Cups playing that way of hockey. And, it worked. So if the Yankees found this legal way to change a bat a little bit, it's not the Yankees who came up with this. It was, somebody invented the bat. And they looked at the Major League Baseball specifications and said, this bat fits specifications. And when this was all going on, and this is how warped my brain is, I cannot stop thinking about the scene in the movie The Natural, when he's finally getting a chance to take batting practice. Roy Hobbs, he gets called up, and Pop doesn't want to put him into a game, and he's sitting there on the bench, and they're going to the hypnotist and all that stuff. And there's Roy Hobbs sitting on the bench. He's got his Wonder Boy bat in his case, and they won't let him play. Finally, he gets a chance at batting practice, and he's hitting one ball after another over the fence, 1,000,000 miles an hour, going 1,000,000 miles. And Pop is like, stops. He spits into the fountain in the dugout. Remember that scene? Comes out, Roy Hobbs. Let me see that bat. What's the story behind this bat? Of course, it's bat was struck by lightning. His father died. And he wanted to make it a special bat, and he put the lightning bolt on it. And the rest, as they say, is history, in the movies at least. So that's what I was thinking about. And Pop says to him, well, if it meets specifications with the league, we'll let you use it. So, again, whether it's Jazz Chisholm or Anthony Volpe or pick anybody else in the Yankee lineup who's using the bats, maybe that should have been my situation. Maybe I could have been a better baseball player if I used the torpedo bat.
Or you would have killed the pitcher this time.
Well, it's not throwing. This is for hitting the ball.
Yeah.
I might have hit the ball right back at the pitcher and hurt his arm that way too. But this, and I'm hearing it from my kids. Like, the Yankees are using illegal bats to do this.
Are they the only ones using this bat right now?
I want to say they are.
Because they're being singled out, so I guess
they're
they
being
are.
singled out, but I don't know if in the last couple of days maybe other players started using it, but maybe it was presented to other teams and they just decided. But Aaron Judge is not using it. He's like, I'm Aaron Judge. I don't need to use that bat. I hit 60 home runs. And he's got 4 already this year, but he's not using that bat. That Jazz Chisholm hit a couple of bullets the other day. Yes, but it's not like, it's like trying to circumvent a salary cap. If there's a legal way to do it, you do it. And just like in this case with the baseball bat, and I was trying hard to get somebody in the baseball bat industry, and maybe we can still do that for Thursday or for next week if this controversy continues. But I'm hearing that from all the Met fans are putting the GIFs on. Is it a GIF or a GIF?
I believe
it's a GIF. I always mess that up. Of the Yankees with these big giant, exaggerating the torpedo bats. The Yankees are not stupid. They may not have won a World Series since 2009, and they don't win every game, obviously, but they're not stupid. I mean, it's not like they just said, this guy dropped off these bats, let's just go use them. Right. Nobody will notice. We'll call them torpedo bats. It'll be great. We're going to beat up on the Brewers opening day. We're going to go 162-0. No one's going to say a word about it. Of course, it came up. It's what the Yankees are doing. It's a travesty. That's all I heard from Met fans over the weekend. In my house, on social media, at work at FAN, anybody who's a Met, the Yankees cheating with those bats. Seriously? Do you think the Yankees didn't get it checked out before they used them? And just like Pop said to Roy Hobbs, if it checks out, if it meets specifications, we'll use them. And the Yankees did. And they hit 15 home runs in 3 games. Now, it's the sweet spot of the bat that is the improvement on these bats. So if you know where your sweet spot is, you have the bigger bulge on your bat. I'm trying to be clean here. The bigger bulge on your bat, the sweet spot, that's where the torpedo is. And that's how it works. So if Jazz Chisholm said, I generally hit the ball on this part of the bat, so they made it a little bit bigger. Now, it's a copycat pro sports, any kind of sports, it's a copycat league. You can go right down to Little League. Johnny got a brand new bat. Johnny just hit the ball 200 feet over the fence. What kind of bat does he have? Oh, we got it at Dick's Sporting Goods. How much was that bat? It was $500. We have to get that bat for our son too, because our son should be hitting the ball that far also. Same thing here with Major League Baseball. Now everyone's looking at this torpedo bat. Will we start to see other teams using it? I would imagine you will. Is Major League Baseball going to do something about it? Not when teams are hitting home runs like that. That's right. Because they looked the other way when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were hitting home runs while they were on steroids. And that was, as it came out to be illegal, this is not illegal. This is approved bats by Major League Baseball. So I'm sick and tired of hearing the Met fans and the fans of the other teams wanting, because the Yankees just have to be smart enough to try this first. And I wear my Yankee sweatshirt with pride today, that they're 3-0 going into this game tonight. And you know it's the kiss of death because the Yankees are going to get spanked tonight, because I'm talking about how much I love the Yankees and how smart they are. Watch them go out and lose this game tonight. You notice I'm not talking about the Islanders yet, because I'm going to the Islander game tonight and I would like to see a win. But that's besides the point. But this whole nonsense, do you think that the Yankees weren't going to run this by Major League Baseball? We got these bats. Can you kind of check it? And they did. And it's fine. But on the other side of the coin, now you have the pitchers who now have to make this adjustment. All right, well, now Jazz Chisholm, he just hit 2 home runs. Now I have to pitch him a little differently. And it will eventually catch up. The Yankees aren't going to hit 15 home runs over every 3 games during the course of the season. I mean, they're not going to face Nestor Cortez throwing 3 meatballs in a row on 3 straight pitches. That's not going to happen every single game. I understand that. But again, let's it's something new. Other teams are going to take a look at this, just like, in any other sport. The Philadelphia Eagles did the tush push, which is being talked about. Maybe they want to ban it. Other teams have tried to do it. It doesn't work. So, and this is true. The people that want to get it outlawed are the teams who can't do it because the Eagles do it so well. So I wonder if the same thing will happen here with the bat. Will other teams use the bat, won't have the same success the Yankees have? Oh, no, we can't have this. Well, we can't. These bats don't work for us, so take them away from the Yankees too. I mean, what are we doing here? It's all I hear about is how the technology helps the game. You know how much I hate analytics. If you follow me, I can't stand it. But here is a piece of technology or a new thing that may actually help the sport create some more fans because there may be more home runs. And the Yankees are cheating. Yankees have never cheated. What would they cheat at?
Cortez is still on their payroll.
Right. But I don't think that's why all right, fine. So Paul Goldschmidt leads off Saturday with a home run on the first pitch. It happens, right? It could happen, right? Second batter's Cody Bellinger. Now Cortez is pissed off. So he tries to groove one to Cody Bellinger, and Cody Bellinger hits another moonshot, right? Now you got Aaron Judge coming up. And finally, thank you, everybody, with the Yankees. I've been screaming, I hate Aaron Judge batting second. Here's Aaron Judge batting third in that game. And what does Nestor Cortez do? He throws a freaking meatball right over the plate, and Aaron Judge hits it 9,000 feet. What's Nestor Cortez thinking there?
Right.
At that point, then I think he walked 3 more times in the game after that. But stop with this ridiculous nonsense that the Yankees are cheating. It's not First, remember, if you watched wrestling growing up in the 80s and 90s like I did, and remember Gorilla Monsoon was talking about, some bad guy wrestler or heel wrestler would poke a guy in the eye when the referee wasn't looking. And goes, oh, look what he did, Jesse. Gorilla Monsoon would be talking to Jesse the Body Ventura. Oh, look what he did, Jesse. He stuck his finger in his eye. He goes, that's cheating. And Jesse Ventura would say, well, Gorilla, it's only cheating if the referee didn't see it. Not cheating if the referee doesn't see it, right? But it's not cheating. It's legal. So stop the whining and the crying. And let's go Yankees tonight against Arizona. Let's make me look good for bringing you guys up for 15 minutes here today. I promised an update on the voice of God. Tony, you've been waiting with very, very patiently for
Biting
this.
my nails.
Yes, absolutely. That's a disgusting thing. Don't bite your nails. I do it, and I get admonished for it. So don't bite your nails. It's actually a gross thing to do. Hypocrite, Peter. I promised an update on the voice of God. When last I talked about the voice of God, this was a guy who was messaging me on social media about doing some work for the New York Dragons. And obviously you all know I'm the general manager of the New York Dragons. I have not resigned from that position. So ignore the first 20 minutes of the show. It was only a joke. So he was sending me all these messages on LinkedIn. I'd like to do some work for the Dragons, I don't have anything for him to do. And I said, contact the league. And he wrote to the league, and he didn't hear anything from the league. And then he came back to me and said, listen, I'd like to do some volunteer work for the Dragons. So he sends me his number, and I pick up the phone, and I called him. I called the voice of God. The voice of God gave me his cell phone number. Can you believe this? That the voice of God gave me the cell phone number?
Everybody gets God.
No, that's why I can't walk away from this business now. I have the voice of God's phone number, right? So there's no walking away. And I have a conversation with him on the phone. And this is right before, this was maybe that Sunday, last Sunday, right before we had the press conference last Tuesday to introduce Gerald Filardi as the head coach of the Dragons. And I'm talking to him. As it turns out, this guy's son played high school football for Coach Filardi. I can't say no to the voice of God. His son played for my head coach. I have to continue this conversation. We move along in the conversation. He said, do you need any help for the press conference on Tuesday? I said, I think we have everything buttoned up. We have a banner. We'll figure out a way to hang it up. We've got my director of operations, Sean Wachter, has a karaoke machine. So we're going to use that as our PA system. And the voice of God, like God striking down on somebody, admonished me over the phone, saying, no, you cannot operate a professional sports team that way. I will bring my setup and my PA system. We will hang the banner appropriately. We will set everything up like a professional sports team should in the state of New York, in the New York metropolitan area. And wouldn't you know, he came there half an hour before we all did, was setting up, and we had the most wonderful press conference last Tuesday, and it was incredible. And the voice of God has now pledged his help to the New York Dragons football team for the remainder of the offseason and into the regular season. Anything we need from him to help promote the team. Thank you to the voice of God. And we can't thank him enough. So I overreacted to his excitement about the Dragons, and I thank him for reaching down from the skies and contacting me on LinkedIn. And it's been so awesome to be able to exchange text messages with him. We have an event coming up on April 25th, and you can go on my socials and the Dragon socials. We're going to be having, because we've partnered with QB54, which is this backyard football game. Unlimited Sports in Port Washington is a great facility. The three of us, the Dragons, Unlimited Sports, and QB54, have partnered for a QB54 tournament at Unlimited Sports on April 25th. Go on our socials. You can scan the QR code and get to a registration link. It's $40 for a team. It's a team of two. Great night of fun that night on April 25th at Unlimited Sports. So that's where we stand on that. The night before that, April 24th, is the 5th annual Marty Lyons NFL Draft Party. And for the 5th straight year, again, I talk about this all the time. Here I am at, 14 years old, sitting in the upper deck of Shea with my uncle, watching the Jets beat the crap out of the Green Bay Packers to make the playoffs. And Marty Lyons and Joe Klecko and Mark Gastineau doing these things. I said, if you told 14-year-old Peter, sitting in the upper deck of Shea Stadium in 1981, freezing his ass off with his Uncle Steve, that one day, not only would I get a chance to cover Marty Lyons on the latter part of his career when I started working in sports, but I get a chance to interview him and then become friendly with him when he became a Jets broadcaster. And I would see him at games and talk to him and become friendly with him to the point where now Marty Lyons has 5 years ago, for the first time, through our mutual, friend, and now he works for the Marty Lyons Foundation, Ken Zor, ask me and invite me to come and MC and host his draft party, his foundation's draft party. It's unbelievable. I would have said you're crazy. 14-year-old Peter I wouldn't have believed you. And not only have I hosted it, I've become, dear friends with Marty and everybody at the foundation. They do amazing work. They're raising money to make wishes come true for kids and families who are going through a very difficult time. And my family and I are very proud to be official volunteers at the Marty Lyons Foundation. And it's unbelievable. And that is a night at Great South Bay Brewery that we walk out at the end of the night. We already are like, what's the date of the NFL draft next year? We can't wait. How do we make this better? How do we have more fun? And it is a boatload of fun. We have so much fun. We see, Greg Buttle always shows up. Kenny Schroy, who co-founded the Marty Lyons Foundation with Marty, is there. Former Jet John Nitty is there. Jay Fiedler usually stops by. John's Crazy Socks is supposed to be there this year, Mark and John Cronin. So I can't wait for April 24th. It's going to be another great night. And the NFL draft, again, as I joke, it's also known as the night that the Jet fans get their hopes up. When we'll find out who the Jets pick with the 7th pick and who the Giants get at number 3. I know we're going to run a minute or two late here, but I just wanted to make sure I got that in. Coming up on Thursday's show, we'll be joined by Ronald McDonald House CEO Matt Campo. And if you're asking me, Peter, why are you having the CEO of Ronald McDonald House on your show? There's a good reason for it. We're going to be talking about a big announcement that's coming up on Thursday with Ronald McDonald House and the Islanders. And that's coming up on Thursday. I can't get into specifics on it just yet. We'll have to leave that for Thursday's show. But it's a very, very significant announcement with the Islanders and Ronald McDonald House, and it has to do with a late, great former Islander. And that is going to be taking place I'm very excited that I was, not excited, but humbled and flattered that the Islanders invited me to this event on Thursday night. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll talk to Matt Campo, the CEO of Ronald McDonald House, on Thursday's show. We're also going to play Stump the Wiz on Thursday. Now, this is a big week for Wiz because he has been less than stellar in recent weeks. And I think we have to, again, DM your best sports trivia question to either my socials or to Sports Bash Media, X, Twitter. X and Twitter are the same thing, basically. Facebook and Instagram. If you have a sports trivia question and you think you can stump the Wiz, send that question in. If we pick your question and you stump the Wiz, we'll have a great prize. That could be dinner with Tony. It could be tickets to a game. Whatever it might be, it'll be a great prize. We'll announce that on Thursday. You're looking forward to Wiz. Wiz, you have to admit, last Thursday, Wiz was like, I don't know what planet he was on, but he was like he was having all sorts of trouble with that last week.
He started off well,
yeah,
and then he kind of fell off. But it was good enough that I think he's on a rebound. He's working his way back.
Yes, I hope so. And listen, we're getting, we love to give out free stuff here on the show, but you know what? We've already exceeded our budget for the year. So,
will Matt Campo be bringing French fries?
No.
Oh.
But I can, no, I don't think he will, but the Dragons have partnered with McDonald's for this year. So we might be able to bring in something. And of course, maybe on Thursday, we'll give our friend Gus and Caesar at the Embassy Diner a call. Maybe we'll have a care package sent on Thursday.
Now you're talking.
And we're still eliciting applications for FOP. It's been a while since we had an FOP. The last one were the Cronins, was Mark and John Cronin when they were here with John's Crazy Socks. We are negotiating with a couple of different FOPs to come in. Scheduling is kind of difficult at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Some people work for a living. as I'm finding out. Why you have a press conference at 1 o'clock in the afternoon with your new football team? People are working. I'm like, yeah, well, if I had it at 7 o'clock at night, you'll say that's during dinner time. So how do you win? You can't win. So we have a good show on Thursday. Looking forward to that. That'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Sports Bash before I do that, thanks to Ryan Corrigan from Corrigan Sports Enterprises for joining us to talk about that big game between Syracuse and Cornell coming up on April 12th at Mitchell Athletic Complex. Sports Bash is presented by Ticketbash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating Service. Sports Bash is also sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage and by Living Legends Memorabilia and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thank you for watching and listening. Sports Bash is back with you on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Have a great day, everyone, and April Fools!